Okay, so on question 12, write the equation of each line in slope-intercept form. So the first equation here, they tell me the slope is -3 and the y-intercept is equal to 9. I'm not going to lose any sleep over this, right? Because I know this is a handy generic form of it's called the slope-intercept form of the equation. And if I just go ahead and plug in my slope of -3, that becomes y equals -3 times x. And then I'm going to plug in my y-intercept of 9, so it's just plus 9. So this is the answer for A, and I think almost all of you got that. The next one says, hey, do the equation of a line that has a slope of 3/5 and goes through the point 5, 7. So in this case, we know our slope. This is m, right? And we also have an xy point. There's an x value and there's a y value, and it says, what's the equation of the line with those characteristics? And to find, the one thing we're lacking, of course, is the y-intercept. So I'm just going to write the generic slope-intercept form of an equation, right? Y equals mx plus b. And I'm going to plug in the y value that I know. In this case, the y value that I have is 7. So I'm going to put a 7 in for y. Then I've got my fraction 3/5 is my slope m. And then for x, we're going to go ahead and put in times 5. And then add b to that. So when I look at it, I've got 3/5 times 5. Ring any bells? What do you get when you multiply 3/5 and you've got 5 of those? Yes, it's just 3, right? Think about it this way, right? You've got 3, you divide by 5, and then you're like, I changed my mind, I multiply by 5, right? 3/5 times 5 is 3. Which makes this really nice. This is now 7 equals 3 plus b, therefore b has to be the number 4. So I've got my y-intercept here, I've got my slope here, so the equation of this line has to be y equals 3/5 x, and then plus the value of 4 for the y-intercept. So that's part B. Okay, now, C and D both refer to, I think, part A above. So we're going to be thinking about, and let me just write it here. It was -3x plus the 9. That was the equation for A above. And it says, which of the below are true to any line perpendicular to line A above? So let me just ask you this. If a line was going to be perpendicular to this line, what would be the slope of that perpendicular line, Brandon? Huh? Not 3/5. It's this one right here. It's -3 is the slope. What is it going to be? 1/3. That's great. And it's going to actually be positive 1/3. So the only thing that's true, let's see, the line would have a slope of -3. No. The line would have a slope of 3. No. The line would have a slope of -1/3. No. This line would have a slope of positive 1/3. So D is the one that's true. Lines that are perpendicular have slopes that must be opposite reciprocals. The change in y becomes the change in x. They flip places, and the sign has to change. The negative has to become a positive. Now, this next one is like really confusing. It says, I'm trying to identify the ones that are not true. That means some of them are going to be true, and I don't care about that. I want the ones that are not true. And it's the same equation. It's right. It's y equals -3x and then plus 9. So it says, which of the following will be not true to any line that is parallel to the line above? Hey, if a line's parallel to this, what's the slope? Any line that's parallel, we what? 3. Not 3. Not 1/3. -3. Thank you, Michael. It would have a slope pattern of down 1/3. Down 1/3, right? The rise is, I'm sorry, I just said that backwards. It would be down 3/1, right? Like this if I wanted to. So it would go down 3 units and then to the right 1, for example. So this turns out to be true. A is true, and we're looking for not true. So I don't care about you because you are true. Let's see. The line will have a y-intercept of 9. Well, that's kind of confusing. You know, if the line would have a y-intercept of 9, if it was parallel to that one, that would actually be the same line, wouldn't it? That would actually have to be the same line. And then you get to this question, is a line parallel to itself? I don't know. That you have to go find your guru and ask, is a line parallel to itself? Is a tree at one with the universe, right? Is a tree alone in the forest if it's there with itself? No, it's not alone. It has itself. Are you ever alone if you've got multiple personalities? It's like I can't answer this. But is a line parallel to itself? I'd say no. A line is itself. So I'm going to say this is not true. It wouldn't have a y-intercept of 9 because that would make it the same line. The line will have a slope of 3. Are you kidding? No, it would have to have a slope of -3. And then the line will have a y-intercept of -9. That could be true. It could have a y-intercept of -9. It's not always true, but it could be true. So I can't say it's not true. So anyways, that's all 12 questions for the test. We're going to cycle back and